Trustees meeting of May 22nd. If we could start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. So first we'll start with public comment. If anybody would like to come on up and speak, we have the podium. Just remember to say your name.
Good evening. I'm Alan Wolf. I live at 4680 Pickering Road, and I'm here today as a mom. Honest Man Action. Want to thank the board for considering for the 6th year in a row passing a proclamation recognizing Gun Violence Awareness Day on June 2nd. It's been a tough year for gun violence, unfortunately, in our state and in our country. But there's also a lot of very positive signs. Here in Michigan, we've had 3 sets of laws passed by our state legislature in the past few months on gun storage, on extreme risk protection, and on universal background checks. And I'm very pleased in the direction that we're moving in. Also here in the township, we couldn't ask for greater support. I see Chief Gallagher's here. We have tremendous support from our police department, and we're very appreciative of that, and just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for bringing it to us each year. Would anybody else like to come on up?
My name is Mark Antocley. I'm a Precinct 3 delegate in Bloomfield Township. Nice statements. I appreciate those statements on the gun safety. And it's very nice that the police department makes those gun locks available for residents to protect our loved ones. But I think to more important matters, congratulations to our student athletes. It's fantastic. But I've also heard that behind East Hills, near Precinct 3, they want to remove some of the playing fields. And without those playing fields, how would our kids be able to learn how to run, jump, improve our skills as athletes and as teammates? And I think it's important that we protect that instead of the township approving or the Board of Education approving a parking lot for buses. So hopefully the students will let their Board of Education know that we need those fields because we want you guys outside playing. My second comment is on meeting minutes and how expenses are being posted in the township. During the last meeting, I highlighted unfair and unjust treatment of public safety with respect to OPEB. And when we look at the GASB filings and what was posted for the town fund and what happened to the public safety portion, went from 12.4% funded the prior year, and after the split in April, and at the end of that year, it dropped to 9.6, while the town portion that remained was over 23.4. That appears unfair and unjust. During the statements during the board meeting, it was stated that we aren't watching what's being posted, and well, we are, because we can get the info, right from the Milliman reports and what we told accountants. The other thing that's interesting is a document that was obtained from the Mackinac Center, which states that Milliman recommends that third parties be aided by their own actuaries with respect to the funding of those OPEB retirement benefits. And I think it's important that were our unions told? I don't know. I even asked about this document from the township, and the clerk's office responded that the accounting department doesn't have it. So I don't know how the Mackinac Center was able to get it, and it says Bloomfield Township on it, and it even mentions Michelle from Milliman. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak? No? Okay, we will close public comment. And next, we'll go to approving the board minutes of May 8th, 2023. We've all had a chance to look them over, and if there are no other questions or comments, I'd look for approval.
I have a comment.
Yep.
Under item 3, under Distinguished Citizen Award, I think there's a letter missing. Just want to get that corrected before we... Under, it should say Catherine, I assume.
Not Cathryn, but
No. Well, in the packet, there's no letter there. It just says Catherine.
Catherine McMurray.
Yeah, okay. Am I making this up?
So,
Tell them where it is, though.
Under Distinguished Citizen Award in the box.
It's in the box.
Catherine McMurray.
It says Catherine.
Okay.
It might be just the format.
I'll make sure that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
Sorry.
so noted, thank you.
Okay.
that's right. As we see, sometimes people make mistakes.
It could be in the PDFing. I don't know.
Yep.
No, he's saying right here, it says it's missing the K.
So his doesn't show it.
Okay.
Can you
Well,
make sure that
we'll
the one that
make sure
gets
the final one
formatted?
does
Thank you.
have it proper. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I make a motion we approve as amended?
Support.
Motion by trustee Shostak, support by trustee Murray. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That does pass. So next, we're going to consider the proclamation of declaring June 2nd, 2023 National Gun Violence Awareness Day. First, we'll have Chief Gallagher speak, and then we'll go to the proclamation to Clerk Brooke.
Good evening. Yes, in front of you, you do have the proclamation declaring June 2nd, 2023, the National Gun Violence Awareness Day. I know we've done this and represented as a township as a whole for the last, I believe it was about 6 years that we've been supporting this. I think Clerk Brooke is going to read the proclamation, and then I'll have a few other statements.
Proclamation declaring June 2nd, 2023 National Gun Violence Awareness Day. Whereas, on an average day in America, 124 people die from firearm-related injury. Whereas firearm-related injury is now the leading cause of death for American children between 1 and 19 years of age. Whereas in an average year in Michigan, there are 1,382 gun deaths, which amount to 13.7 per 100,000 people, meaning Michigan has the 25th highest rate of gun deaths in the United States. Whereas a municipality's highest responsibility in the community they serve is preserving and promoting public safety. Whereas support for the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens goes hand in hand with keeping guns away from people with dangerous histories. Whereas elected officials and law enforcement officers know their communities best, are the most familiar with local criminal activity and how to address it, and are best positioned to understand how to keep their citizens safe. Whereas in January 2013, Dahlia Pendleton was tragically shot and killed at age 15, and to help honor the 120-plus Americans whose lives are cut short and the countless survivors who are injured by shootings every day, a national coalition of organizations has designated June 2nd, 2023, the first Friday in June, as National Gun Violence Awareness Day. Whereas the idea was inspired by Dahlia's friends, who asked classmates to commemorate her life by wearing orange, a color that hunters wear to announce themselves to other hunters when out in the woods. Orange is a color that symbolizes the value of human life. And whereas in coordination with the Bloomfield Township Police Department, the Bloomfield Township Board of Trustees pledges to encourage responsible gun ownership to help keep our citizens safe. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Bloomfield Township Board of Trustees declares Friday, June 2nd, 2023, to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day.
Thanks, Martin, for reading that. I think it's important to point out that the proclamation is not an Second Amendment. What we're requesting and what we want is safe and responsible gun ownership. We can look at the stats from the weekend alone. We had a 5-year-old killed in Kentwood. They haven't released which is just outside Grand Rapids. They haven't released the full details on that yet, but a 5-year-old was unnecessarily killed by a firearm. And in Detroit, we also had that was a 2-year-old in Kentwood, and a 5-year-old was shot in Detroit in the hand due to, they put out that it was irresponsible gun ownership. We're seeing an increase in auto thefts, we're seeing an increase in vehicle break-ins, and we're also seeing many people who leave their firearms in their vehicles. Those firearms typically are not then used by law-abiding citizens. our law-abiding citizens purchase their weapons properly and safely secure them properly. So that's really where we want to go. And it's kind of scary when you look at, so far, there was an ABC News report recently that they get their stats from the Gun Violence Archive, but so far in 2023, as of like May 1st, there's been 16,547 deaths. Sadly, over 9,000 of them are suicides. 7,000 are either felonious or unintentional deaths, and many of those are children, which is why we want this responsible gun ownership. Again, we support responsible gun ownership in the township. Luckily, we don't have too many problems here, but we do want to encourage. The township does offer, right at our front desk, free gun locks for any resident. In the past, we have done also concealed pistol permit classes, which does not only include, it teaches safety of the weapons, it teaches responsibility with those weapons, and what laws we must, as civilians, we must follow. So again, we want to thank you guys for considering the proclamation.
Amen.
A quick question. How do you sign up for the class for a concealed weapons permit?
We'll usually advertise it on our social media, and there's usually a waiting list for them.
I'm on it.
But, yep, there's a lot of people on them. But through Nick Soley, our community relations officer, usually handles that, and usually we can find it on our social media page when we're preparing one.
Thank you.
I have one question. Chief, last year you did a gun buyback for gift cards, a turn-in, to try and get guns off the street, guns that aren't being used wherever they came from, and it was a huge success. Is that something that we're going to be able to do again this year?
That was planned through, I believe they used ARPA funds, and that was through the county commissioners. I don't know if they'll do it again. Again, what we found during that event was more people who had old firearms in their house turning them in. So I don't know if it'll happen again or not. Unfortunately, we were only able to service so many people because we got way too many guns that were unfortunately just old firearms that probably some didn't even work. But I don't know if the county commissioners will fund that again or not.
All right, thank you.
There was talk of it.
Okay. And Chief, will you just describe what safe gun storage is?
A gun safe in your home, locked away from children. If you, for whatever reason, have to leave it in a car, find a gun lock. They sell gun locks for vehicles. So you can hide them, store them, but if they're locked away, if they're not, make sure there's a trigger lock on those weapons so they cannot unintentionally be used by somebody, mainly a child is what we're really concerned about, but we said the suicide stats as well. Just because you have a gun in your home doesn't mean it's always secure and safe.
Thank you.
So.
Anyone else? Thank you, and I also want to thank Alan and Deb for everything that they did on bringing this each year to us and providing us with our ribbons and making
Deb
and
and
another
Deb.
Deb, sorry, Deb and
Double
Deb, making sure that this is something that we talk about. And I also thank the police department for being part of this to explain this is an anti-Second Amendment. This is making sure that we're all safe.
Yeah, responsible gun ownership is important.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we need a motion?
Then do I have a motion to accept the proclamation?
I would like to make the motion that we accept the proclamation to declare June 2nd Gun Safety Awareness Day.
I'll support it, and I'll say I've taken the class through the police department. It's an outstanding class, and I'm really not a big gun person, but I certainly learned a lot about safety with guns, and it's well worthwhile.
Education.
Yes.
So we have a motion by Trustee Murray, support by Trustee Barnett. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Great, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So next we have considering the proclamation honoring the Bloomfield Hills High School girls hockey team. So if we could have the ladies come up here first from the hockey team. We're going to do this where each team will come up, get your proclamation. At the end, we'll take a big group photo too. Is it just you?
Nope, we're good.
Okay, I'm like, if you don't feel comfortable here, we can do that. But yeah, come on up. Pat, do you want to come with them or any other school?
Yeah, Pat.
Pat,
Why
come
not?
on up.
Coach.
Got coaches. And then today, so that you don't have to just hear me talk all day or Clerk Brooke, we're actually going to have the trustees get involved today. So today we have the proclamation is being read by Trustee Michael Shostak.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to read and present to the board a proclamation in celebration of the 2023 Birmingham Bloomfield United Girls Hockey Team. Whereas the Birmingham Bloomfield United Girls Hockey Team won the 2023 state championship. Whereas the Birmingham Bloomfield United Girls Hockey Team is made up of 4 players from Birmingham, 2 from the International Academy, and 18 players from Bloomfield Hills High School. The team was a successful mix with many years of experience and brand new players who learned their skills while on the ice. Whereas the Birmingham Bloomfield United Girls Hockey Team fought for the win with a double overtime goal to take the victory with a score of 5-4 in the final game. Whereas commitment, positive thinking, and bonding were huge factors in the team's rise to the top. Whereas the members of the team are Reagan Abkarian, Sydney Arnkoff, Adriana Badio, Kendall Crawford, Elizabeth Culbertson, Liliana Amen, Abigail Fulton, Gracie George, Ella Gross, Reese Henkin, Mackenzie Collio, Bella LaHood, Mary Levin, Zara Morsi, Kayla Pleisier, Samantha Pollock, Jessica Reebach, Catherine Reitmeyer, Mary Reitmeyer, Claire Rubel, Anastasia Schneiders, Alia Somero, Clara Tabin, and Ashley Vofre. Whereas additional recognition goes to the coaching and athletic staff who provided support, guidance, and dedicated leadership, including Mick Singelin, head coach, Chris Koch, assistant coach, Ashraf Morsi, assistant coach, Mike Cowdrey, district athletic director, and Avis Najer, Bloomfield Hills High School athletic director. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Bloomfield Township Board of Trustees formally recognizes the Birmingham Bloomfield United Girls Hockey Team for their accomplishment, winning the 2023 state championship. Be it known to all reading this proclamation that it was adopted by the Board of Trustees on May 22nd, 2023, and included in the minutes as a permanent record. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Would any of you like to coach? Would you or any of the girls, if you'd like to say anything, if you want to go up to the microphone over there? Go on. No? Ready to put you on the spot? Okay. So then, do we have a motion to accept the proclamation?
So moved.
Motion by
There you go,
trustee
really.
Barnett. Support by clerk Brooke.
year
All
we'll
in
do that.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That does pass. Thank you, ladies, and thank you, coach. Next, we have the soccer team. Come on up. Coaches.
We have a lot of ladies here.
All right, so for the soccer team, we have actually trustee Neil Barnett will be reading this for us today.
You can spread out. You can spread out.
They're going for the ladies' photos. You guys going for the best shot of the photo? I see you.
Okay, I'm thrilled to read this proclamation in celebration of the 2022 Bloomfield Hills High School Girls Soccer Team. Whereas the Bloomfield Hills Girls Soccer Team won the 2022 state championship. Whereas the 2022 Bloomfield Hills High School Girls Soccer Team is the first soccer team ever since Bloomfield Hills High School was established in 2013 to win a state champion title. Whereas the Bloomfield Hills High School soccer team is the first Bloomfield Hills school soccer team in over 20 years to earn the title. Whereas going into the playoffs, the team was ranked 12th in their division, but went on to beat multiple higher-ranked teams in their regional and semifinal matches before finally defeating the #1 ranked team at the state finals. Whereas the members of the team are Ava Abadio, Charlotte Carlton, Lauren Kuzin, Ava Duquette, Lily Emma, excuse me if I butcher some of these names, I apologize. Brooks Green, Avery Hall, Lola Hasbin, Emma Henry, Avra Law, Joelle Lauer, Drew Martin, Emma Merchant, Jenna Ofera, Jenica Opdal, Jackia O'Rourke, Elena Parada, Esther Rosette, Sophia Spano, Alice Spiegel, and Tess Wright. And whereas additional recognition goes to the coaching and athletic staff who provided support, guidance, and dedicated leadership, including Alan Zakaria, the head coach, Tristan Horvath, the assistant coach, Sarah Lucas, goalkeeping coach, Samir Haria, JV coach, Connor, Lyrics, JV coach, Cody Savoy, JV coach, Mike Cowdrey, the district athletic director, and Avis Najer, the Bloomfield Hills High School athletic director. So therefore, whereas additional recognition, as I just mentioned, goes to the leadership. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Bloomfield Township Board of Trustees formally recognizes the Bloomfield Hills High School girls soccer team for their accomplishment winning the 2022 state championship. Be it known to all reading this proclamation that it was adopted by the Board of Trustees on May 22nd, 2023, and included in the minutes as a permanent record. Congratulations to all you ladies.
Coach, would you or any of the ladies like to go up and speak at the microphone? Anyone? We just ask that you go over to the microphone if you
want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Firstly, I'd like to thank you guys for honoring this wonderful team. I've said this many, many times, but more than winning, I'm just so proud of the culture and the wonderful young ladies that we have in our community. And I think the city of Bloomfield Hills and Township of Bloomfield Hills should be extremely proud of the hard work, the dedication that they put in. They are extremely outstanding student athletes. Not only did they win a state championship, but they are just outstanding representatives of our city and township. And as a Bloomfield Hills graduate, I'm extremely proud to be part of this group and to have the opportunity to coach such a wonderful group, and we should all be proud of their accomplishments. Thank you very much.
With that, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Shostak, support by trustee Murray. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That does pass. Thank you, ladies.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Coach.
Congratulations.
So next we have the tennis team. Maybe some of the coaches will come up with Pat. Otherwise, Pat, maybe you'll want to come on up. We'll just make you talk at the mic. You know I only have a little bit more time to do this to you. So. No, you're representing the whole team. Come on up, friend. So Pat is one of my favorite people in the whole world, and sadly, he's going to be leaving us soon. So this is some of my last chance to razz you and push you on the spot. So for this one, we're going to be honoring the Bloomfield Hills High School boys team, and I'm not saying the tennis team. I'm not saying that girls are a little better, but we did show up tonight. No. But we have actually Trustee Stephanie Fakey is going to be reading tonight's proclamation.
Thank you, Supervisor Walsh. So this is going to be a proclamation in celebration of the 2022 Bloomfield Hills High School varsity boys tennis team. Whereas the Bloomfield Hills High School varsity boys tennis team won the 2022 state championship. Whereas the Bloomfield Hills High School varsity boys tennis team carried their #1 ranking straight through the state tournament to win the Division I championship with 35 total points. Whereas we recognize the members of the Bloomfield Hills High School varsity boys tennis team that won the state championship. And that team includes Malik Alabas, Sam Basil, Jonah Chernett, Merrick Chernett, Drew Davis, Michael Dillon, Ethan Endelman, Asher Langwell, Keirth Lingham, Dominic Pescarella, Aaron Rose, Ryan Rose, Connor Shea, Pierce Shea, Daniel Stojanov, and Tony Vasily. Whereas there were 8 Bloomfield Hills High School varsity boys tennis team players who also took home individual state championships. Daniel Stojanov repeated as state champion at #2 singles, Connor Shea at #4 singles, Pierce Shea and Merrick Chernett at #1 doubles, Michael Dillon and Ryan Rose at #2 doubles, Keirth Lingham and Dominic Pescarella at #4 doubles. Whereas additional recognition goes to the coaching and athletic staff who provided support, guidance, and dedicated leadership, including Greg Burks, head coach, Sarah Chatham, athletic trainer, Monica Rake, athletic trainer, Mike Cowdrey, district athletic director, and Avis Nager, Bloomfield Hills High School athletic director. And maybe I should also add Mr. Pat Watson, the superintendent of the Bloomfield Hills schools. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Bloomfield Township Board of Trustees formally recognizes the Bloomfield Hills High School varsity boys tennis team for their accomplishment of winning the 2022 state championship, and be it known to all reading this proclamation that it was adopted by the Board of Trustees on today's date of May 22, 2023, and included in the minutes as a permanent record.
Thank you. Would you like to say anything on behalf of the athletics in general, the team?
While I didn't have the opportunity to coach the young men in tennis, I did attend several of the matches, and say that they were a great team would be an understatement. I think it's more important than not just the teams that have won a state championship, but also talk about the quality of young people that we have, and that they're going to be good, conscientious citizens, and they're also exceptional students. And they do put academics first, and it really is, the epitomizes what a student athlete should be and what we would want for all of our children if they were involved in athletics, and education was a priority as well. So kudos to everyone, especially if you had the opportunity to win 2 state championships in 1 year, in 2 seasons. That's incredible, and thank you for honoring our teams. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion for considering the proclamation to honor the tennis team.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Barnett, support by Trustee Faki. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That does pass. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks for coming.
So we'll go on next to, no offense to Patty, less exciting things. Oh, see, I'm razzing everybody tonight. It's sorry, Patty. Oh, I saw Andrea's face.
No, I said it's okay. I'm walking out there.
It's all out of love. So I only pick on the ones I love.
I know.
How are you?
So actually, we have Andrea today. We have our Andrea Bibby, the Deputy Director, to consider the approval of a site plan request for the new office building at 43572 Woodward Avenue. A lot of love.
Well, that was really cool.
That was
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
They're pretty
Hi.
amazing.
Good evening. I'm Andrea Bibby in the Planning Division. What I have before you this evening is a site plan application for consideration for approval by the Township Board this evening. It is for the Bloomfield Vein and Vascular PLLC. They're seeking a site plan approval for a new building to be located at 43572 Woodward. You can see
That little sliver, I think.
how about we go to this one? Not that one. There you go. As you can see up here on your screen, it's a vacant piece of property that is located on the east side of Woodward, north of Square Lake. They are proposing approximately a 10,611, actually not approximately, they are proposing a 10,611 square foot, one-story medical office building. The property is zoned office, so this does comply with the provisions of our zoning ordinance, and it does abut the East Bloomfield Highlands subdivision to the east. So what you have here is a site plan, as I stated, for a one-story, 10,000 square foot building. The site would be accessed by a single curb cut off Woodward Avenue, as shown there on the site plan. The parking layout, as you can see, surrounds the building. They do have adequate parking that does comply with the provisions of our zoning ordinance. The traffic study was provided on behalf of the applicant, and it was reviewed and approved and supported by our traffic engineer, noting that it does conform with the township requirements. I also wanted to note that on the site they are providing some 6-foot wide sidewalk walkways, which you can see, which will provide access from the safety path on Woodward Avenue to the site itself. To the north side of the building, you can see that would be where the main entry would be located. Also to the north side, which would be towards the top of the screen, you can also see there is a overhang canopy, which would allow for pickup and drop off. And then also to the rear of the building, they are provided an outdoor screened-in area that will house the transformer and the generator for the site, so there will not be any visibility to any of the surrounding properties. They're actually, I'll show you on the elevations, are providing a very nice screening for those mechanical equipment. Additionally, they are providing a as I had stated, the pedestrian access, as you can see on your screen, providing access from Woodward onto the site. They also are providing, as required by ordinance, a loading area, which is hatched out near the rear of the building, which does demonstrate where deliveries would occur on site. They are also providing a masonry dumpster, which is actually towards the rear of the site, which on your screen would be more to the right. You can see it highlighted there in a gray tone. They are providing a masonry dumpster enclosure with the required gates in accordance with our ordinance. And then additionally, they are providing a 6-foot-high masonry wall, which is proposed along the easterly lot line. That is a requirement within our ordinance anytime that we've got a commercial use abutting single-family residential. So along that furthest, on the right of your screen, that would be a 6-foot-high masonry wall. Additionally, a landscape plan has been provided, showing that the parking layout shows a total of 61 parking spaces, which includes 4 barrier-free spaces. As I stated earlier, the requirement for that approximately 10,000 square foot building is exactly 61 spaces, so they do in fact comply with the provisions of our parking standards. Additionally, in regards to the landscape plan, which is up on your screen here, you can see that they're offering a variety of vegetation, some trees being provided within the parking lot field, as well as some nice vegetation along Woodward Avenue to kind of give the building a nice appearance from the road. They did have to seek one variance for this project, which I think I can just say that the applicant did an extraordinary job finding a property that was able to accommodate their needs and be able to meet all the requirements of our ordinance. The only instance that they needed a variance was due to some existing utility lines that run along the northern portion of the property. We have a provision within our ordinance that states that you cannot have trees planted within 10 foot of a utility line. They did get a variance because they will be about 8 feet within that. However, I just do want to point out that the trees that they have proposed have been reviewed and are approved by our landscape architect, so there's no issues or concerns on behalf of the township regarding those plantings. That variance was granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals at their April 11th meeting. So with that, I'm going to show you the floor plan, which is just made up of some interior office spaces, entrance area. You can see provided here on their screen. Again, it's a 1-story building, so there's not really, this is the whole layout as shown. Provided up here is also the building's design. You can see that the elevations show a utilization of brick, metal coping, and wood look aluminum panels, which represents kind of that brown tone. And then you can also see on the bottom graphic, you can see that screened in area as I spoke about earlier, that would house the transformer and the generator. Again, that's in the rear of the building and would not have any visibility, but they have provided adequate screening. And also CMU block is another one of the materials that's being used. So as you can see, the top elevation representing the north elevation would be the one that would be have the overhang for the pickup and drop off. And then you can see at the very bottom, the south elevation would be the one that would be facing immediately to the south. With that, I will say that our various departments did have an opportunity to review this application, stating that the fire department and police department noting that they had no objections to this proposal. And then comments from the engineering and environmental services just noting that upon township board approval and prior to the issuance of any building permits, the applicant must provide a draft stormwater sewer easement, which would be required at the time of engineering plan. Because the applicant was required to have an agreement with an adjacent property owner, they will be required to submit that. I do know that they have successfully been able to acquire that that easement. So with that, I would ask that the board consider under what conditions you would approve the Bloomfield Vein and Vascular Center. I do know that we do have Paul Loosley here, who does represent the applicant. He's the architect, or I'm sorry, the engineer on the project. So if Paul, you'd like to come up here, and we'd be happy to answer any questions. As I did state earlier, this did have an opportunity to go to the design review board on March 1st, in which they did receive a favorable recommendation forwarding the application on. It then was reviewed and had a favorable recommendation by the Planning Commission on March 8th, 2023. And then lastly, they did receive that variance for those utility lines and the plantings on April 11th. So within your packet, you do have considerations for you to consider this evening, which would be approval subject to compliance with the requirements of the township departments, compliance with the requirements of the township's landscape architect, compliance with the requirements of the township traffic engineer, recording the storm water easement, sewer easement construction and maintenance agreement, and review and approval for any signage going to the design review board. So with that, as you've seen the site plan, you've seen the elevations, I am more than happy to answer any questions. This is the site as it currently sits today. And I also will note that they did provide a photometric study, which does indicate that there is no overflow lighting onto adjacent properties, and that all lighting is required to be downward shielded, and as to not have any glare or any negative impact into the adjacent properties. With that, again, I'm happy to answer any questions, as well as Paul's here as well.
Did you want to introduce yourself?
Well, again, my name is Paul Loosley. I'm with Environmental Engineers. We're the civil engineering consultants on the project. And let me say we're very happy to finally be before you to hopefully get this project moving. It's been, 3 years in the works.
There was a pandemic that happened along the way.
So anyway, Andrea's done a great job of explaining the project, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
I saw your hand up.
Yeah. Actually, it's such a great enhancement to that area, and the whole team did a great job in putting together a very attractive building. The only question I have possibly for you, Andrea, is you recalled the Planning Commission, and I'm glad you brought up the photometric study, because there was that one issue at the Planning Commission with the neighbor directly across the street in that older house.
Yes.
And they had a concern about whether it was spillover of the lights or any lights on directly on the building, if they would be an issue. And I know they were supposed to speak with the owner. I just don't know if there was any resolution.
I know
to
that they did meet after that meeting out in the hallway, and my understanding was that they were satisfied that the issue there would not be an issue.
Okay.
And I can actually add to that. She called me today. She was actually in between flights, but she wanted to let me know, which I really appreciated, and that she did not have any issues after speaking with the property owner. And I did obviously tell her that as things move forward, if there's any issues or concerns, please reach out to the township. She appreciated that. But other than that, she did clearly state to me that she was happy with any of the issues, and she explained that she was in the older home across the street. So pretty sure we're talking about the same person.
Yeah, yes, the same person.
Yeah.
Because I know the owner was very considerate of their concerns. So, okay, thank you.
Good question, Danny. Andrea, you mentioned recording of an easement. Was it just the ones that are listed, the stormwater easement, the construction and maintenance agreements, or was there another easement that you were referring to that you were waiting for someone?
That was this was just, we're waiting in the sense where they were notifying the applicant that has to be executed upon the time of them making engineering plan review. It's the same, I'm referring to the same easement. Am I correct?
Okay,
I'll refer to the engineer, but it's the same easement.
So we don't need to add anything further than what you had
No,
stated?
I would
Okay.
not say so, no.
Okay,
It's already
thank you.
covered under the conditions.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
Very nice looking building.
Yeah, and the landscape, too. They really did a good job.
I just had one question. When I was looking at the packet, are there windows anywhere, or it seems like there's the shaded areas are other building materials. Are there some windows in the building? It just seemed kind of, it's not that it's not attractive, but windows enhance.
Tall, narrow strips that you see there, I believe, are windows. I'm not the architect, but
I was not sure by looking at it because it kept describing the building materials, and I was just curious from an aesthetics, is it like a big box with no light coming in? Not that it's a huge objection,
Yeah,
just
those-
question.
Those are windows, yeah.
Those are windows. All right, thank you.
And they might be minimizing them since it is a surgical vein center.
Sure.
To limit the amount of windows looking in.
Looking in.
Yeah. You wouldn't want anybody looking at you while you do. But they did do a great job on the landscaping as well, because, the whole project they put a lot of effort in. It looks really good.
It seems like it'd be a nice improvement to the area.
Yeah.
They're actually adding to, one thing I didn't mention is they are adding an area in the front of the building that's going to have the impervious pavers, as you can see up here on your screen on the right with the green coming up through it. That would be an area for like staffers to be able to go outside. And they were conscientious, obviously, of any stormwater or runoff, so they came up with that solution. So they want to provide an opportunity for their employees to also be able to go outside and have some outdoor. So that's also included.
If there are no other questions, I look for a motion.
I'll make the motion as considerations as presented, and again, it's just a great improvement to the area.
Motion by trustee Burnett.
Support.
Support by trustee Fakir. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That does pass.
Thank you
Good luck
very
with
much.
everything.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, thank you for a wonderful job. Consider approval to opt into the Oakland County's Urban County Community Development Block Grant programs for the program year of 24, 25, and 26. And today we have Director Christine Devara.
Thank you. Good evening. It's so nice to have support, IT support, right? So each year, Oakland County requests that every 3 years, Oakland County requests that participating communities affirm their commitment to cooperate in applying for federal funds through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. This cooperation provides for access to the highest level of funding for those participating. Senior Services has represented Bloomfield Township in the block grant program since 2009, and grant funds support minor home repair projects and Meals on Wheels. There we go. So the outcome of our partnership with Oakland Counties and with our wonderful Bloomfield Township Planning, Building, and Ordinance Division is that we have completed 139 minor home repair projects, and we do have 5 active currently. These projects represent the investment of $685,000 in federal grant money to improve homes of low-income seniors in Bloomfield Township. 30% of each year's allocation ensures that our Meals on Wheels service continues. We delivered nearly 5,000 meals in 2022 in a variety of ways, hot, frozen, and liquid. And the reason that I mentioned that is during the pandemic, we went to frozen meals, and it was this past year, 2022, that we were able to get back to a hot meal delivered to your door with our wonderful volunteers. So that was a big thing for us this year. It is my recommendation that we continue to cooperate based on the success of the minor home repair program and, of course, the essential funding for Meals on Wheels. So a board resolution would express our interest in continuing to cooperate with the county for the program years 2024, 25, and 26. Do you have any questions?
Does anyone have questions?
No, I just think it's a fabulous program, and I'm very supportive.
Great. Brian?
Christine, great program, great administration of a great program. Have we utilized all of the monies available under this program in the years?
We generally have a little lag time, and that's a good thing because sometimes it takes up to 10 months to get the final allocation, because we do our process of application, then the county collects all the applications. I think it might be 50 some, maybe 51 communities. Then they put together their application. Then it goes to the federal government, and that takes a tremendous amount of time. In fact, I think that we just got approval to spend from something that we applied for, I would say about 10 months ago. So to answer your question, we don't use it all in the year that it's allocated, but it helps to cover us while we're waiting for the next allocation to be approved.
Okay, so we can use from one year to the next?
Yes,
and,
yes. I mean, the tracking is a little wonky, but, Jason works with us and we get it all done.
And how do you promote and market this to our residents?
Yeah, so we have this great opportunity every spring to include a brochure in the tax mailing. We put it in a quarterly catalog that goes out to every household over the age of, with a voter over the age of 50. We have done some other types of marketing periodically through the years. We get some promotion when we come before the board each fall when we do the application process. And of course, there's a public notice that the clerk's office helps us with.
Right.
Yeah, but we're always open for new ideas.
And do you have anything on the website about it?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
It's on the website, yep.
Sure.
Thank you for reminding me.
Maybe we can get Carrie to do a video for you.
Right on.
She's always looking for new talent.
That would be great.
It's a great program. I know you work with the assessor when needs come
Yes.
in,
Yep.
and they work collectively so that residents who are in need of this program can utilize it. It's a great program.
I should have mentioned that because when we did that, when we started that several years ago, we have had customers come to us from your process that would not have been aware of it. So that was a really good add-on to the program.
Would you like to make a motion?
I would be pleased to make a motion to opt into the Oakland County Urban County Community Development Block Grant for the
Support.
years 24, 25, and 26, as
Motion
presented.
by Trustee Keeps. and
Support.
Support by Trustee Murray. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That does pass. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
So next we have consider the award of the 2023 Jan Roncelli Safety Path with Americans with Disability Act ADA Ramp Improvements contract presented by Corey Almas, our Director of Engineering and Environmental Services.
Good evening, Board. The annual Safety Path program consists of the new Safety Path construction, Safety Path maintenance, the Safety Path repair program, retaining wall program, and new to the program is the ADA compliance. The ADA compliance master plan was approved or accepted by the board in April 25 of 2022, in which we identified the ADA compliance and existing pedestrian crossings at all public road intersections. The summary of those findings were that we prioritized the list of locations to correct the timeline to complete the work and the preliminary cost for the correction of these issues. In that master plan, we identified 1,180 ADA ramps within Bloomfield Township based on a high-level document survey. 515 of those ramps were determined to comply with ADA guidance. Of those, 665 ADA ramps were field reviewed by our consulting engineers, HRC, and 199 of those ramps were determined to comply with ADA guidance. 466 of those ramps were determined not to comply. This map shows the non-compliant ADA ramps at non-signalized intersections. The red dots illustrate those locations on that map. Might be a little bit difficult to see. This is the ADA non-compliant at signalized intersections. Again, the red dots show those locations. And finally, these are the non-compliant locations within Bloomfield Village. I wanted to, when we're talking ADA compliance, I wanted to show basically the details, the MDOT details that were developed and provided by MDOT back in 2010. So this just, we talk about the landing, if I had a laser pointer here, I'd show you, point to it, where the landing, the ramp, the curb, the detectable warning strips, all of these are illustrated in these MDOT curb and ramp details. So this is what we go by when we design or attempt to achieve ADA compliance during the engineering process. So the 2023 ADA ramp improvement scope of work consists of the removal and installation of 8,253 square feet of ADA ramps, landings, and the transition safety path. The removal and replacement of concrete curb and gutter, landscaping work relevant to the construction, and other miscellaneous items at 49 ramp locations throughout the township. This map illustrates those locations along 14-Mile, Maple, Walnut Lake, Quarton Road, Lone Pine, Inkster, Franklin, Waddles, and Adams. Those red dashes on that map illustrate those locations of those at those intersections. Excuse me. This is an example of one of the non-compliant ADA ramps. What we're looking at here is basically what makes this non-compliant is the curb and gutter. There's no detectable warning strip. The landing is not compliant because it doesn't meet the cross slope and longitudinal slope restrictions on that. And then also you can see in this, there's the crack that's going right through the ramp and in the curb there that will be repaired and during this project. So these are the ADA ramp layouts that were prepared by our consulting engineers, HRC. What this is basically a majority of these locations, the 49 locations, are pretty straightforward, where you remove the existing curb and gutter, the ramp, the landing, and the transition, which is at the top, where we tie into the existing safety path. Here's another, a little bit slightly more complex situation where you've got two legs of the safety path that come together at the intersection. And here again, you can see the curb is non-compliant. The ramp doesn't have the detectable warning strip. The landing key flag is non-compliant and sloped. You can see that to the west as we're facing south. So what we'll do is we'll come in and lay out and remove the curb and gutter, replace it, put in the ramp with the detectable warning strip, replace the key or the landing and to make that compliant, and then tie that in with the legs going, that would be east and south. The transitions into the existing safety path. So two bids were received and read on May 11. Italia Construction Inc., ICI from Washington, Michigan, was the low bid that was read in the amount of $359,781.95. ICI has a very good working relationship with the township. They've got excellent customer service and currently working with the township on other projects. Funding was considered and approved for this project. So with that, staff's recommendation, move to approve the bid and award the contract for ADA Safety Path Ramp Replacement Services for the 2023 Safety Path ADA Ramp Improvement Program to Italia Construction from Washington, Michigan, and the not to exceed amount of $359,781.95, except that the Township Engineering ESD staff shall have the authority to approve up to a 10% increase in said contract amount based on actual quantities needed to complete the project or conditions discovered in the field, if said conditions and or quantities are confirmed by the Township ESD and the Township Consulting Engineers. Should quantities needed to complete the project or conditions discovered in the field increase the contract cost above 10%, the ESD shall obtain approval from the Township Supervisor prior to issuing approval of said contract amount. Are there any questions?
Any questions or comments? Look for a motion.
So moved. Thank you for a very thorough presentation.
Motion by Trustee Barnett,
Support?
support by Treasurer Keeps. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That does pass. So you can stay up there for your next one, which is to consider approval of the Oakland County Reimbursement Resolution for the 2023 West Nile Virus Management Program. This is how you know that you're part of the official team, because we hit you up for two at once now.
Yeah, well, that's, keep coming back 2 weeks from now. We'll stack them up. Okay. So since 2003, Bloomfield Township has participated in the West Nile Virus Management Program in cooperation with the Oakland County Health Department. Each year, the Oakland County Health Department identifies the available funding for each participating municipality. This year, Bloomfield Township was allocated or allotted $6,341.79, which is the same as last year. In order for the township to receive the reimbursement, the board must approve a resolution, which was included in the agenda packet. So, the history of West Nile virus was first identified in Michigan in 2002. Currently, there is no vaccine. Causes flu-like symptoms in very rare cases, encephalitis, meningitis, and it affects the younger and older populations along with those who have compromised immune systems. This chart shows the confirmed cases and deaths for Oakland County, Michigan that was taken from the Oakland County Health Department website.
Right.
An explanation of the outbreaks generally occur in warmer than normal summers and milder winters. So you see the spikes in cases in those few years caused from those.
Oh, I like that.
Looks real.
We want to take this opportunity and kind of educate the public. It's a good time of year to be doing that. So what we'll have is on the website, we'll have a lot of information. We'll also have handouts at the township offices. But what residents and business owners, property owners can do to help eliminate, eradicate mosquito or infestation is eliminate all the standing and stagnant water. So if you go around your properties, especially after a rain, and dump out any water that's collected in the wheelbarrows, the toys, the garbage cans, buckets, dog bowls, bird baths, tires is a good one, where the stagnant standing water really caters to mosquito breeding. So especially after rain, it's good to go out and around and do that to try to eliminate that. So where am I here? Sorry. Protecting yourself and avoiding outdoor activities from dusk to dawn, using insect repellent, fixing any entryways into your houses or businesses, wear light-colored long-sleeve pants so the mosquitoes and bugs can't bite you, and you can easily see if they're on you. And there will be a limited spray or limited supply of spray and wipes on a first-come, first-served basis at the DPW once we receive those products. So the reimbursement plan was due on May 1. We completed that on April 27. The resolution is due June 9th, which is why I'm here tonight. Then the invoices and proof of payment will be due on August 11. This program should be completed sometime in June, and then we'll receive the reimbursement to the township in the amount of $6,341.79 from Oakland County. So listed is the cost of product. The West Nile virus budget from Oakland County is $6,341.79. The township budgets for West Nile, specific for the West Nile program, $500 for a total funds available at $6,841.79. The cost of the product is the Alticid briquettes, is what we used last year. We vet that every year. For 7 cases of that would be $5,720.80. The cost of the spray and wipes will be $1,109.76 for a total cost of $6,838.56. That yields a $3.23 under budget. So our treatment process is that
Every time that happens, it makes me itch.
So DPS staff, DPW staff will treat catch basins, retention and detention basins, roadside ditches. Larvicides last 180 days, and we apply the application, like I said, in spring, late spring, June. We'll be done with this program. Boom.
Got it.
With that, staff's recommendation is to approve the resolution for reimbursement of the $6,341.79 from Oakland County and approve the additional expenditure of $496.77 above grant reimbursement. With that, I'll ask if there's any questions.
Questions or comments? I'd look for a motion.
So moved.
Motion by trustee Shostak. Support. Support by trustee Faki. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That does pass. Nice job.
Thank you, board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next we have on the agenda is to approve the payroll and vouchers for May 22nd, 2023. We've all had a chance to look them over. Unless there's any changes or questions, I'd look for a motion.
So moved.
Motion by trustee Faki.
Support.
Support by trustee Burnett. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? And our last motion.
I move we adjourn.
Motion by clerk Brooke.
Support.
Support by trustee Murray. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Great. We'll see everybody in 2 weeks.